Hello and welcome to the Performer's Guide. My name is Kristen Railing and today we will be discussing funding your business. There's actually a wide variety of ways that one can fund their business once they've become a small business. And there are many opportunities available for individuals as well. But in this video, we're just going to be focusing on business opportunities for funding. And these are the general basic ones that my clients come to me and I help them with. And self-funding, donations, grants, investors, finding lenders, getting sponsors, fiscal sponsorship, and crowdfunding. I think oftentimes people never get out of self-funding, right? Most of the time when people come to me, they are completely funding their own business on their own. And it's another way of calling it bootstrapping. So you're using your own resources, your own money, and you're self-reliant, self-made, and you're funding yourself completely on your own. It's a good way to start, and it is a healthy way to start, and does show your investors that you are able to manage money, and does give them a little bit more confidence in giving you money. But if you stay here in self-funding for your entire business, then you tend to need to have higher prices because all of your funding is coming from the clients or from your own pocket. And you're really just missing out on a wide variety of other funding options that are available to you, and your business will stay stagnant. And so the purpose of this video is for us to get out of the self-funding mindset and into allowing resources to come from many different streams, right? First things first, we're going to go kind of in order of intensity of the way that we interact with people and the way that we engage with them to get the money. And I think donations are the least difficult. There's the least involved. It's usually a lighter pitch. You don't have to write as much for a donation ask. And oftentimes the donor will be closer in your spheres of influence. And so you're not going to have to give them quite as much information for them to be sold on giving you money, nor are they going to put quite as many restraints on the usage of the money. And the closer they are to you and the least invested emotionally or mentally into your business they are, but they make an investment or they make a donation, these people are called angel donors because they kind of have almost no reason to give you money, but they sort of swoop in and they're like, yes, I love what you're doing. I love your project. I want to give you money. Here's a lump sum of money. Don't even worry about it. And so this is kind of the dream. This is what most businesses want. They want to find people to just give them large sums of money and not have to have a lot of parameters set upon the donation, right? And start here. And this can be helpful too, because you can get feedback from people who are close to you, right? About your pitch, about your business, about the holes in your business, and they might have some good feedback before you move on to a larger scale funding proposal. Grants. Grants would be the next one that's popular because you don't have to pay them back. Same as donations. The only difference is the formality, really. Grants usually have very specific forms. They have very specific organizations that they're coming from. And oftentimes grants specifically want to work with businesses. And so donations will often work with people, individuals, and there are individual grants that you can find, but way wider variety of grants available to small businesses. And so the thing we want to think about with grants, there's actually 3 levels of grants that we could be looking at. You've got local grants, you've got state grants, and then you have federal grants. And so there's money available at all 3 tiers, depending on how you operate your business, for some, and the parameters of others. And so you're just going to want to kind of weed through the different grants and see which ones that you qualify for. And the pitch, the ask will sort of develop itself based upon the form that you have to fill out. And so it'll kind of feed you along in the information that you need to get. Okay. Now, I will say that grant writing can be its own profession. And there are many grant writing classes that you can take that can help expand your knowledge on grant writing. And it's really helpful to actually hire a grant writer, somebody to edit and send in your grants. Now, you would have to give them a percentage, but these people do it full time. And so they can often weed out the mistakes that you might not see right away to ensure that you'd get a grant. And at least doing it once or twice with them to help get a solid outline. If you do it all the writing in a document, you can save it for future grants, and that can be really helpful. Investors, this is where businesses start to go into the fear zone, right? I think that with donations and grants, they're really sexy because we don't have to pay them back, and we don't want to have to pay money back, right? It's nice to just be given money. And so the investments can sometimes be a little bit scary, because then now these people are getting percentages of your business. They're going to have stakes in your decisions, and you're beholden to the investors, right? In a way that you're not to the grants and donations. And so we want to be thoughtful about the people that we let invest into our business and make sure that they are in ethical alignment with our core values, right? Because we often have to talk and work with them. And investors can also be in the form of business partners as well, right? People are either going to invest money or time or other resources. And so the investment might not necessarily be a monetary investment. It could also be a time investment, or in the form of a business partnership. And so again, you're giving away percentages of your business, but in the other flip side, you're getting resources that you wouldn't normally have access to, which can be really valuable for a business. Loans. So loans are another one that I think scares small businesses, because they usually come from a bank or from the government, and they need to be paid back. And there's interest and parameters around the loan application. And you usually have to have good credit at this point to get a loan. With the other 3 before, you don't necessarily need good credit. It's more social credit or just good writing skills, right? But with a loan, you definitely need to have good credit and a little bit more of a credit background. And so loans can also be kind of, they feel like unachievable, right? But I think that it's important to consider the loan. Consider the loan as a viable option for your business and something that can actually be really beneficial, and sort of a test for you to manage your money well, map out how you're going to use money, and make sure that you're using it to invest in your business instead of squandering it, right? And so If you're going to ask for personal loans too, it's helpful for the person loaning you money to see a past of borrowing and returning the money, right? And this is where it also comes to be very important to have a really solid idea of how much money you need to ask for, because if you undershoot the value of the project and then you run out of loan money, you cannot go back to the same investor and ask for more money without looking like you don't know how to manage your money or budget or do proper financial projections. And so then you may need to go take out more loans from other sources, and which is great too, but you just really want to make sure that you have a clear understanding of what your budget is before we start taking out loans and exactly what you're going to use the money for. And the loan can be a really valuable tool. And then you also want to remember that there's two different types of loans. You've got the, like I mentioned, the bank loan, which is the more formal loan. And then you've got like the personal loan, which could be the person that you had thought was going to be a donor. Maybe they set parameters on the return and they'd actually like their money back in a timely fashion, which can be great. And so you just sort of want to leverage that position and pivot and know that when you go in to ask for a donation, to sort of have a secondary pitch for a loan, like, okay, you have the money, but you don't want to give it to me. Perhaps a loan is in order here. And personal loans can sometimes be a little bit more achievable and a little bit less daunting because, again, you don't need credit. It's more social credit, right? Then we've got fiscal sponsorship. And so this is great for businesses that want to tap into the nonprofit grants that are available, nonprofit sector, but don't necessarily have the time or ability to become a nonprofit. They might want to do what's called fiscal sponsorship, which is where if I was a business and I wanted to pull funding from the nonprofit sector, I would find a nonprofit that already existed, that's within my domain and aims, that has the same core values as my business, and I ask them for fiscal sponsorship. And what that means is they sponsor me with money by allowing me to look into their grant pool. And typically they have a very tight-knit community of donors who give to them on a regular basis, and they already have relationships with donors and can point you in the right direction of funding for your business. And you will be allowed to use their nonprofit number for your business, and you use that to fill out the application, and then the money goes to the nonprofit, and then they give you 90% of it or 95% of it or whatever your deal is with them. That's all in a negotiation in between you and the fiscal sponsor, and they usually have already a set standard for what they do, and so you can just start with whatever they offer and see how that feels for you and then negotiate from there. But I've gotten a lot of funding through fiscal sponsorship, and I recommend trying it. Crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is a really up and coming way for new businesses who aren't able to fully fund their business alone, but don't have the ability or capacity or understanding to get a full grant or full loan for their business. Maybe it's due to the scope of their business or scale. It's a big idea. There's many reasons why one might want to consider crowdfunding. And it's great. There's multiple crowdfunding platforms that you can create what's called a crowdfunding campaign. And these tend to be short-term campaigns to generate a large amount of money from a large amount of people through small donations. And so you might not have $10,000, but if 10,000 people gave you $1, you'd have $10,000. And so finding a platform that fits your project needs will allow you to generate a campaign, market it, and get funding through crowdfunding. And this is great, again, because it's a donation, so you don't have to pay it back, but there are parameters. And usually people who do crowdfunding campaigns are offering something in return, but usually through a product or service that is the thing that they're trying to create. And so you just want to make sure that the amount of money you ask for actually creates the project to return to the investors the product that you promised. And so this is, again, where good financial math and understanding of your business is really important. Sponsorships, it's different than fiscal sponsorship. So similar is fiscal sponsorship is basically one type of sponsorship, okay? And there are actually many different types of sponsorships, and they tend to be for a specific thing. So someone will sponsor your event, or someone will sponsor a product, or someone will sponsor something for a short amount of time with specific parameters. And it's not always monetary. Sometimes it's monetary, or sometimes they're donating equipment, or sometimes they're donating, you know, if it's for an event, they'd be donating the stage or the materials needed to produce the thing that you need to do that you wouldn't otherwise be capable of doing without the sponsor. And so the thing to really consider, and I go over this more in a different video of the differences between being sponsored, affiliate marketing, is that the sponsor gives you money for your project, products for your project, and you are putting your name on them and then listing them as a sponsor, as opposed to an affiliate where you're selling their products for a discounted code, like a discount code. That's an affiliate marketing that often gets considered as a sponsorship, and it's slightly different because usually you're only getting a percentage off of their products as well, and they're not giving you outright a large amount of products. And so with all of these combined, it's a lot of different options for a business, right? And again, I cannot stress enough how important it is, if you are going to be asking for funding, that you have done your business model, you've done your business plan, you've done your financial projections, you have a solid idea of what your business is, so that when you go and you ask somebody for money, that A, you sound competent and professional, and B, that you ask for the correct amount of money, because you can't go back and look like a ding dong and be like, oops, I did the math incorrectly and now I need more money. You're going to lose faith from your clients and your investors, your donors, sponsors, all these people who are right now rooting for you and they really want you to succeed. And so you want to go in on your first attempt and show them that your business is worth funding. Okay? Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, my name is Kristen Railing, and this is the Performer's Guide.